Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. We are on day 8 of our 12 yoga weekdays leading to Christmas. Leading to Christmas. And today's class, I called it Bringing Balance. So I actually just created this little series, and I wanted to create something that brought full attention to our mind, and I don't mean as in a meditative way, but to make us concentrate on what we're doing. So there will be a little bit of, there'll be strengthening in this class, core, and also some mindfulness going on too. If you need to take any breaks during the practice, remember, it is your practice, so you do what you need to do. And if there's any modification or variations that you want to try that you know that works better for you, if something that I'm doing doesn't feel at your full capability, then you're more than welcome to change things up. Towards the end of the class, we'll be doing a nice little meditation, but it's not a meditation, it's sitting in silence and just sitting here. It's called a PMT, the Pulse Meditation Technique. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So if you can come to Sukhasana on your mat, and again, if you just signed in, and this is not necessary, but if you want to have a strap on hand just in case, or a couple of blocks, you're more than welcome to have those on hand. I see a comment before we start. Yeah, see, I love it. Kara, notice, I brought a bed for the dog today because look how comfortable he is. Let's see if he doesn't disturb me today. All right, guys. Have a nice seat on those sit bones. If it's not comfortable sitting in Sukhasana for you and you want to sit on your heels, you're more than welcome to sit on your heels. So hands are resting gently on the legs. And we're just going to take a moment here to bring that awareness to our natural breath. I do that at the beginning of every class, bring centering awareness with the physical and mental bodies. So give yourself, I don't know, maybe 20 or so seconds, and we're just going to connect with the breath. Allowing the inhalation to enter through your nose and exit through your nose. So again, we're not forcing the breath and trying to get into a rhythm. We just want to see where the natural breath is in and out of the nose. Maybe start sinking a little bit deeper into the breath, connecting the movement of the belly with the breath. Remember, your eyes can be opened or closed, whatever feels more natural to you. So do a little bit of movement while we're sitting here. We're going to do a nice gentle twist. So you're going to inhale while you're at center and exhale, twist to the right. So it's nice and gentle. We're not trying to go deep. Seeing if you clench the jaw or if you've been clenching the whole time, allow that to relax. Come back to center and then exhale to the opposite direction. Let's do that one more time. Come to center on the breath in. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. And come back to center. We're going to do a lateral stretch, so side stretch. Bring that right hand to the floor. You're going to inhale, left arm up, and exhale over to the right. Making sure when you're doing those side stretches, keeping those sit bones equal. So if you notice that when you're coming over to the right and your left sit bone started to lift and you're kind of just hanging there, come back, connect that left sit bone, and continue to hold the torso. Remember, if you want to slide that hand out further, if you feel like you can go deeper, you can, or if you want to come down on the forearm. I'm not warmed up enough to come down on my forearm this morning. Come back up. Let's switch sides. So remember, this time the right sit bone stays down. So it's not taking a vacation up towards the sky. You're nice and equal on the sit bones. You may notice you're able to go further to one side than the other. And this is without our bodies being warmed up. Face is soft. And then come on back up. You're going to make your way to table. So coming to your hands and knees. Remember, wrists in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. You choose toes tucked or untucked. Also, if those wrists are tender, you can come up onto the knuckles. So you choose, again, what feels more at ease for those wrists. Move into cat and cow. So table, everything's nice and long from the top of the scalp down to the tailbone. Then exhale first through the nose. Now inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, curl it in, tuck the tailbone in, chin in towards the chest. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Breath in. And breath out. Come back to tabletop. We're going to do an alternating arm and leg. So what's going to happen is we're going to bring the right arm out in front, left leg behind us. And then we're going to bring them in towards the belly, a nice movement. And then extend again. We're going to do this 3 times before we switch sides. So again, we're going to start with the right arm, left leg. So first, exhale. Inhale, right arm out in front, left leg behind you. And make sure with that left leg, you're not lifting it up high. We want to keep it in line with the spine and the glutes. Exhale, curl it in. So this does require core. Inhale, extend. It also requires balance. Exhale, curl in. We're going to do 1 more. And on this last one, hold the extension. So remember, don't come up higher. Keep that leg extended behind you. See if you can flex that left foot. And with those right fingertips, have that kind of sensation if your fingertips are being pulled in front of you. So we get a nice elongation of the body. And on the exhalation, your next exhalation, curl it in. And then come back to tabletop. We need to bring that balance, dynamic balance. We're going to do the opposite side, so left arm, right leg. First exhale and table. Inhale, extend. Remember that right leg in that alignment. Exhale, curl in. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Beautiful extension. Hold the extension. Continue to breathe. Flex that right foot, making sure that leg is in alignment. Not coming up, taking a vacation down or up or down. Fingertips being pulled in front of you. On your next breath out, curl it in. And then come back to tabletop. Nice smooth sway side to side. So we're not going super, super fast, but we're targeting, you know, the good old core, targeting the brain. I would like you to tuck those toes underneath if they're not already, and just make your way into downward dog. Give yourself a nice stretch in that downward dog. Sending those heels down towards the mat, fingertips gripping the mat, head coming between the arms. Remember, we can pedal if we want. It's our first downward dog. We're actually not doing many. This might be our only one. Play with the feet and the legs, walking them further apart. And then from downward dog, I want you to tippy toe those feet forward. So you come into a forward fold. If you need to bend the knees, as you've heard me say many times, bend those knees. It's a gentle forward fold, so you can have a nice gentle sway side to side. You can even do a gentle twist. Allow the head to relax. And then you're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time till you make your way into mountain pose. Shoulders away from the ears. So our biggest warm-up today is our chair flow. So it's a nice chair sequence. So you're probably like, chair. So yes, we're going to target into the glutes, making sure we're not doing everything through the legs. So we are working the legs, but we're going to make sure that we're tightening those glutes in the movements. We're also going to be moving into a couple of chair series that require even more balance. At any point through this series, if you feel like you need to readjust something, or you don't even want to come down as far, don't force the body, but just especially listen to the knees if they don't want to come down too far. So we're going to start first with a nice foundational chair. So you can have those feet, I'd encourage you to have them hip width apart, arms are alongside the body, shoulders relaxed. I'm going to inhale, exhale, sit back. So it's our first chair. I'm sitting back. I have no problem if your knees are starting to come over your toes. I'm okay with that because we want to strengthen the muscles and tendons around the joints to help us with everyday activity. When we go to pick things up, we never bring our knees back. That's realigning everything, right? So your arms can be up, or you can have them in prayer in front of the heart. If you're tired and you want them on your thighs, you can have them on your thighs. Bring the weight back into the heels, especially if you feel like you're starting to lean forward. Have it back in the heels. Relax the face. And we're going to push up through those heels and then continue into a forward fold. So the standing forward fold is an actual release for when we're working in the chair poses. If you want the Sanskrit, it's Uttanasana, but I'll be saying chair. Allow that neck to relax. So we are going to build on that, all right? From your forward fold, come back into the foundation chair. So see if you can sink a little bit deeper. Listen to the lower back. So if those arms are up and there's any compression in the lower back, wherever the position of the arms are, or if you feel like there's compression because you've gone lower, just come up a little bit, okay? Really listen to that lower back. Now you're going to push through the heels, come to standing. We're not going to come into that forward fold yet. We're going to come into a chair variation series. You're going to sit back, arms are in front, and on the exhalation, you're going to sweep your right arm down, watching the hand and arm behind you. Then inhale it forward, come to standing. Exhale, sit back, watch that left arm. Then come back, come to standing. We're going to do 2 more times for each side. Exhale, Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale left. See how I'm not throwing my body, I'm moving with that purpose. And then come into your forward fold. Give that release into the back. If you need to bend the knees, give that bend. So I know you're like, well, it's not very fast, but trust me, it's working. It's not about speed, so it's control, mindful movement, which I said on Thursday's class. I'm trying to get you to have the brain connected with the movement. So from here, we're going to make our way back up into Tadasana, but have the arms in those steeple hands, raise all the way up. And now bring the palms together, and you're going to sit back into the chair with prayer hands. On an exhalation, let's rotate the left elbow to the right leg. Inhale up, extend those arms. Exhale down, twist the opposite direction. Inhale up. We're going to do 2 more per side. Squat, twist. That's within the obliques, okay, guys? Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I forget, so we're going to add one more. My mind wanders, see? I need to come back to what I'm and concentrate. So this is 4, this is a bonus. If it's 3, we're on task. And come back up to center, releasing down into that forward fold. If you want to go deeper into your forward fold about the back of the legs, you can, or you can just keep that nice gentle forward fold. Face is soft, neck's relaxed. Create those steeple hands. You're going to inhale all the way up and release the arms down. So our next one's called awkward chair. Okay? So you're actually going to bring your feet a little bit further than hip width distance apart. I'll turn sideways. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'll verbalize everything too. I would like you're going to extend the arms out in front of you. Keep the fingertips together, relax the shoulders down, and you're going to come up off those heels as high as possible. You may want to find that point forward, slightly down, a beautiful gaze, focal gaze. It's also called a drishti. And now release those shoulders, those heels down. And just let the arms come down for a moment. So that was just the first step. We're actually going to come down into a squat or into chair on this, okay? So if your feet, you need to readjust your feet after you came up on the toes and you're like, okay, I need a little bit wider distance or a little bit closer. So extend those arms out in front. Fingers are pushing together so they're not spread apart. Shoulders away from the ears. Tighten those triceps, tighten the glutes. Come up onto the toes, lift those heels. Now lift those heels up. Slowly make your way down into a chair. And depending on your mobility, that'll dictate how far down you come. Nice smooth breath. Oh yeah, here we go. Relax the face. Remember those arms the fingertips are together. Now push up through those toes. Release the heels. Release the arms for a moment, relax. And shake the arms if you need to. You have a choice here. We're going into the second portion, a variation of awkward chair. So you still want those feet hip width apart. You're not going to be lifting your heels as high. So extend those arms out in front, fingertips together, shoulders away from the ears, tighten the glutes, just gently lift the heels up. We're not coming up very high off the heels. Now, if you have the mobility, bring your shins, or sorry, not shins, your thighs and knees together. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. And then you're going to squat down. So your heels aren't coming up super high at first, and you come down into your squat. Shoulders away from the ears. And then raise up a bit and bounce. Bounce. And push up slowly. Keep those legs together. And release those heels. Come on into your forward fold. Legs should be nice and warm. Remember, your forward fold could be a nice gentle one, or you can go deeper. Steeple hands, inhale all the way up. Release the arms. We're going to come into our one-legged balancing poses. So this is going to work on core, mobility, mindfulness, all right? Balance. So I want you to find a position where you're on your mat and you're able to look forward, slightly down, so you have a focal point. I mentioned it a couple minutes ago, called the drishti. We want to make sure you're not looking all over the place, because the moment you're looking all over the place, you're going to topple over. And if you fall and have fun, we're like kids, right? So that's all right. So I like to sometimes have a block in front of me for a focal point. I also have the block in front of me because we will be eventually moving into Warrior 3. So if you have a wall that you need to put a hand on, you can do that. Or you can have a chair, if you have a couch right beside you, or just challenge yourself and don't put the hands on anything, because we really want to activate that core. So the first pose will be tree pose. So the feet, again, hip width apart. So we have that nice alignment of the leg with the hip. Bring the palms together in front of the heart. You're going to root the left foot into the mat. We're going to start with that right leg. And then moving into tree. We've done it in a couple of our practices already with the series of the couple of weeks. You can bring the foot by the ankle, the shin, or up onto the thigh. Palms in front of the heart. You all know where you can take this as a challenge with the arms. If you want, you can bring those arms overhead. I'm going to give you a hint. We're going to be staying on this left leg for a little bit, okay? If you do need to take a break or you fall out, because I'm looking all over the place, you can bring that foot down and readjust it. Focal point. Make sure that foot is not on the left knee. You're going to allow yourself to bring the knee in front. Palms are still at heart. So I'm going to turn sideways now so you have the side view. So my knee is up. My palms are together. I have a focal point. You may start feeling sensations in that left ankle or foot. And now extend that right leg. Try not to lean back. For some of us, we're able to get that leg up higher. This is a spot where if you want the strap, you put it around the palm of the foot. I'm going to listen to my hips this morning and see how high they really want to go without me leaning back. So we don't want to lean back, all right? Now, like a sweeping motion, going into Warrior 3, or the kids love to say it, airplane. So you can bring the arms on either side of the body, like airplane wings. You may have your hands on a block or a chair. Like I was saying, something to hold on to, but make sure it's not taken away from the benefit of the pose. So you're not getting lax in that left leg. You're still working your core. If that right leg doesn't want to come up and your toes just want to touch the ground and you're still working on your balance, that's a variation. And seeing if you can keep the hips in line, you're not turning out. Does that make sense, guys? So I'm showing so many different variations. I'm probably not over the place. And coming up, if you haven't already, at a Warrior 3. We need to bring that balance to the other side. This is where you're going to really realize which side is easier than the other. So come back to that stance in Tadasana. Feet about hip width apart, shoulders relaxed. Before we move into the other side, connect where you're feeling some tinglies on the left. If you're not, woohoo, I'm impressed. So shoulders away from the ears. Root that right foot now into the ground. Find those points on the bottom of the foot that are connecting. Hands on the hips or in front of the heart. And we're going to shift into tree on the right. So remember those options, ankle, shin, or thigh. Looking at your focal point. If it's me, I'm just giving you a heads up. I am going to turn here so you guys have a side view. Just so I don't mess with your drishti. Face is relaxed. Now bringing that knee in front. Smooth breath. Extend the leg. Remember, if your foot has to stay on the floor, and just the toes gently grazing, that's just a different variation. Try not to lean back. And then sweeping that leg behind you. If you need to take a little break, go ahead. And we're going to move into Warrior 3, airplane, whatever you want to call it. And coming up with control as much as possible. And Tadasana. Feel the sensations now on the right leg, or if you just happen to do the opposite side, the knee, whatever side was working, leg that foot that connected with the ground. Release the arms down in mountain pose. You're going to inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Bring the hands connected onto the ground, all the way back to our downward dog. So this is downward dog number 2. And then bringing the knees down to table. Or again, if you choose, you can come back to child's pose, Balasana. So with Balasana, I'm sure most of you know, your knees can be together, or you can spread the knees apart if you want to come into child's pose. For some people, it's uncomfortable because their sit bones, actually your joint, your hip bones, some people's hip bones just don't allow that mobility. So their sit bones are always hanging up in the air and they just can't relax, right? So why force someone to go into something if their body isn't built to do it, right? then slowly roll up, or if you're in table, bring your heels, I almost said it again, your sit bones back to your heels. We are going to go into dolphin one time, but we're not going to do 10 dolphin pumps. We're just going to do 2. And if you want to join me, I'm just going to kind of play with my feet, walking them in closer and then walking them back. So I'm working on balancing on my forearms. We're not going to be into a headstand. We're just working into a little bit of balance with the toes walking in towards the belly. So you're going to bring those arms extended, bend at the elbows, and then bring them down to the mat. So if you did the first Shivananda class with me in this series, we would have done this. You're going to open up your forearms, interlace the fingers, and now our forearms are nice and rooted on our mat. We want that strength and stability right there in our forearms. We're going to tuck our chin in towards our chest and just pretend that we're sliding our head in between our woven hands like a little basket. So right now my shoulders are coming up towards my ears. I'm not putting any work into my forearms, so now my head's touching the floor. Nope, I'm going to push into the forearms into the floor, tuck my chin in, and see how my shoulders pull away from my ears. Now, you can stay on your knees or you can come up into your inverted V. I'm going to do 2 dolphin pumps. You're going to inhale, exhale forward. Inhale, exhale forward. When you come back into your inverted V, if you're up off the knees, you bring your knees down. So just take the pressure off the forearms for a second. If you need to come back to child's pose, you can. So I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. I'm kind of working with the feet coming forward and back. If you want to just kind of take a break in child's pose, you're more than welcome. Or if you want to kind of challenge yourself this morning, you can. So we're going to set up again for dolphin. First seems like dolphin, but it's also the next few steps for a headstand. Like I said, we're not coming into headstand. Bringing my forearms down, I have that alignment of my elbow to my shoulder. Opening up my forearms, interlacing my fingers, tucking my chin in towards my chest, sliding my head into my basket. My forearms are pushing. There's only a gentle grazing of my head on the mat. It's actually hardly touching. I'm going to bring my knees up, and all I'm going to do is tippy-toe my feet in, tippy-toe my feet out. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. So if you want to do this, see if you can do it 3 times. Feel that core activate. There's no pressure on my head. And then I'm going to take a break in child's pose. After I hold child's pose for a couple of breaths, I'm going to slowly roll up. I'm going to slide off my heels. Yes, it is hard. That's a hard one. Like I said, it's a little bit of a challenge this morning. That's our most challenging pose this morning. When you're ready, you're going to make your way into a seated cross-leg position. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. And we're going to move into that PMT that I was talking about, the pulse meditation technique. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into a kind of a meditation, we're going to meditate using our pulse. What I want you to do, you can choose what arm you want to find your pulse. And you're going to, with the other arm or hand, you're going to find your 3 fingers. So you want your index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. And you're going to gently, and the fingers aren't touching, they're a little bit spread apart, bring them onto the outside of the other arm and find there's a little bone that kind of protrudes. So right here, down, we want our fingers just below that. All right? And I'm just gently pushing, actually hardly pushing, my fingertips down. If you have nails and they're getting in the way, find your fingertips. All right. So again, fingers aren't together. We want them gently separated, just a little bit. And I want you to see if you can find your pulse. There's no pushing. We want to find that gentle throbbing. It might take us a bit. You may find it right away, or it might take you a few more breaths. And you're going to notice, you're going to feel that pulse, that throbbing, more underneath one finger than maybe the other two, or it just tends to get weaker, stronger on one, it kind of a little bit less on the middle finger, then a little bit less on the bottom finger, or you might not even feel anything on that ring finger. Nice smooth breath in and out. Sit in silence. And then allowing yourself to gently let go. Just bring the arms down for a moment. You can shake the arms if you need to. Relax the shoulders. We're going to do it again, but it's going to change. The first one was called the moon pulse. It's nice, gentle, kind of just where we are at that moment. Now we're going to look for the sun pulse. So bringing that same arm up, bringing those that other hand around. Remember, we don't want those fingers touching. We find that gentle pulse again using the fingertips. And now you're going to gently start pushing. Until possibly the throbbing stops. So you're putting a pressure on that pulse. Stops. Now just gently release it and observe. Connecting the breath. Moving on to that pulse. And then releasing the arms down. Relax the shoulders. So the moon pulse that we first went into with the gentle connection of the fingers on the wrist, or just below the wrist, finding the pulse. Like I said, it was called the moon pulse. So that is bringing us into the present moment. Where were we at that moment without basically fully focusing and deepening into our practice. The sun pulse, which was the second, where we put the pressure and then gently released, but it's into full awareness and connection with the pulse. So we had a nice gentle moment with the pulse, nice and soft, and when we went deeper and brought us deeply into the moment. The more you practice this, it helps with that, when you think about it, moon and sun, dynamic balance. We can't run away from our pulse, right? So the more we practice with it and connect our breath with it, it's going to bring a beautiful balance with the breath, the pulse, the body, the environment. Allow those shoulders to relax. We can try it one more time. So bringing that arm up. And actually, if you want to switch this time and choose the opposite arm and see if it's easier or harder to find the pulse, let's challenge ourselves with that right now. So I'm just going to take my watch off in the way. Bring the other hand up. Remember, those fingers are parted. Your ring index and middle finger. Find that spot on the wrist where the bone just starts coming down. So you're on the side of the bone, you're not right on the bone. Gently touching, seeing if you can find that pulse, feel that beautiful vibration. Remember, you may just be able to feel it under one finger, not the other. If you can't find anything right now, the more you practice it, the easier it does get. Releasing the arm down, gentle shake, relax the shoulders. I'm going to go into that sun pulse. So bringing that arm up, the other hand coming around, finding that gentle pulse, the tips of the fingers. Now, when you find the pulse, you're going to push down. And when you feel the pulse stop, then just gently release. The coolest sensation. You may feel it first through one finger, and then releasing and connecting with the others. It's our life force, right? In a way, like it's the pulse, right? Our vitals. And release. So this type of practice you can do for a couple of seconds, a minute or two, or just do it for a little while. You're going to bring those knees up together. You're going to lay down onto the back. We're going to bring the knees in towards the chest. So we did a lot of stuff with the glutes. So just bringing the knees in, so you need a nice gentle stretch into the glutes and maybe into the lower back. Remember those circles I was talking about the other day? You can do circles. You can bring the arms out to a T and come into a gentle recline twist with the knees both bent. Then bringing the knees back up to center, switch sides. And come back up to center. We're going to come into relaxation just for a couple of moments. So today, if you want, you can come into those legs fully extended. Or maybe you want to come into a reclined butterfly this morning for your final relaxation. Bringing those palms of the feet together. You can have the arms extended, palms up, or even have that connection of the hands on the legs. And I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. Beautiful sensation of the rise and fall of the belly. With every inhalation through the nose, you might even still feel that cool breeze entering the nostrils. And on the exhalation, maybe a warmth hitting that upper lip. Focusing in on the breath. We are going to get ready to move out of our Shavasana. If you want to stay here longer, I didn't hold it very long this morning, but if you want to stay where you're at, stay in Shavasana. If you want to move and you're in reclined butterfly, please bring those knees up with support of the hands on the outside of the legs. If you're in full Shavasana, just bend the knees gently, making your way, everyone, unless you want to stay in Shavasana, onto your side to fetal position. And then making your way up to a seated cross-legged position. Allowing the hands to relax on the legs, relax those shoulders away from the ears. I encourage you to close your eyes. And then bringing the palms together, we're just going to do that gentle rubbing of the hands, creating friction. And then stopping this movement, just pull the hands away gently. And then starting to bring them closer together so you can feel that vibration between the palms of the hands. And connecting the palms. One more time. You might go a little bit faster, creating more warmth. Stop. And then just slowly, hands apart. And then starting to bring them towards each other. The coolest sensation. Our body is full of so much energy. Bring the palms together. Have a beautiful, fantastic day. Please feel free to shoot me any messages on how you like this practice. Like I said, I just designed it. I just wanted to kind of focus in on bringing balance and connection of the brain, how everything operates. But yeah, I would love to hear your feedback on it. And if you have any questions on the PMT, the Pulse Meditation Technique, you're more than welcome. Again, shoot me a message and I will send you whatever information I have on it. Have a great Wednesday, guys. We're almost there. Almost there to the end of the week. And again, the recording will come out to you soon.